Does your group have the monster manual memorized?
Do they know Faerun, Kryn, Greyhawk, Mystara, Darksun, or Barovia better than you do?
Do they know the lore of the land, cultures, gods, and politics like the back of their hand?
Are they bored with the campaign setting?
If the answers to any of these is yes, you may have campaign setting fatigue.
We have the cure. It's 5 reasons why you should build your own campaign world this week on the Dungeon Masters Dojo.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dungeon Masters Dojo podcast. This is a show for game masters, as well as experienced and new players alike. We hope to bring you the tools needed to not only be a great GM, but to help you develop as a player. I'm your host, Louis Aponte. Our stars of the show are Scott Labby and Bill Robotile. Let's enter the dojo and see what both Bill and Scott have in store for us today. Hey Bill, hey Scott, how's it going?
Great.
Effervescent.
So I guess it's world building. It's just not for deities anymore.
No, it's not. You, too, can build your own game world. I suggest you do it.
Really?
Yeah.
This started off with our week-long where we decided to just kind of throw something a little different at everybody. And 10 years later and countless bottles of adult beverage, we've came up with our own world, our own campaign setting.
It's fun.
It was a blast doing.
Well, I didn't even think we realized we were creating the world.
Well, you were a guinea pig.
Yeah,
we knew it all along.
When we first started anyways. I didn't mind. It was actually pretty fun. We had the Cleft and Darkhold. That was really it to begin with.
That was it?
Yeah, it all spawned from there.
Yep.
I think one of the biggest draws for me in creating or home brewing your own campaign setting is that you don't have to follow a linear narrative like you would if you were using one of the boxed sets, because they kind of have it all planned out for you. You know, this is what's going on in the world today, and this is the timeline that you're in right now. This is where you belong. This is where this edition of D&D is set in, and you don't have to do any of that when you homebrew your own campaign world. The narrative is written at the gaming table, not just by the DMs, but by the players as well.
Well, it was for us, and we drove that quite a bit. We were oftenly asking our players, to elaborate on things. What do you think of that, and what would you do here? And we kind of seeded it and let them run with it, and then we would take what they did and put our spin on it and polish it. And if we didn't come up with something finished or near finished, they certainly would either finish it for or get us started on something. It's like, boy, that was a good idea. Let's run with that and see what we can come up with. And I think just the collaborative between the table, you and I, we managed to put together what I think is a pretty damn good campaign setting.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know if it's just because it's our baby.
I can answer that for you. It's a damn good campaign setting.
Well, there you
It really is.
I feel vindicated.
As do I. So with your own world, your players can be a huge part in its development. And we touched on that a little bit, but there were their first characters that they played in the campaign world kind of set the tone for their entire race. I mean, they created brand new races for this campaign world.
Yeah, we gave them an outline and a few directives and then said, okay, flesh it out. And as they started, well, I think they should do that, and I think they should do that. And they'd bounce it off us before they actually threw it into play. You say, well, how about this for a skill, or how about this as a background? And they did every single one of them did a very, very good job of just embracing the races that we created and ran with them. And they became very colorful entities unto themselves.
Yeah, and they really drive the narrative of your world. And, when you play in Faerun, everybody goes back to Drizzt, who is a pretty cool character, but we don't have any of that. We don't have a Drizzt. epic, well-known heroes are the characters from the first 7 years that we ran a campaign in that campaign setting. So
Yeah, most of them became legends.
yeah, and when you refer back to them, because we'll drop these little Easter eggs in a campaign, we have a whole new character being played, same players, but these names pop up and everybody instantly recognizes them because either they played that character or the person sitting next to them was playing that character. So it adds a really deep investment in the campaign setting on the part of your players.
A certain amount of validity as well.
Yeah, a great deal.
It's like, well, I know it's real because they just mentioned Len,
Yep,
or Molif, or Solinar, and these are names that in our world are 400 years in the past now, and they're still recognizable to the level of myth and legend.
that's the other thing too. Is our two campaigns that we've run in the game world, they campaign setting, they take place in very different periods of time in history. You can do that when it's your homebrew campaign setting. You can bounce around and populate your timeline, your history, with the campaigns that you're running, and your player characters can be those legendary heroes. And who doesn't want that?
It's a whole lot better than buying the prefab where you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I'll agree. It couldn't get any better. Like I said, you guys did a wonderful job creating this world that we've been playing in for the last, was it 10 years now?
12.
12.
Well, yeah, 12 years of retro con. It started. Well, the world probably started
The
after
second year,
the second year. The first year was kind of like get us all together, and the seeds were planted then. And the second year we kind of like talked about it. But by the beginning of year 3, him and I looked at each other and went, "We got something here. Let's see what we can do with it." And it's been run, and our gaming group has been play testing it for us up to that point where we're actually, knock on wood, hopefully ready to start publishing pretty soon.
That'll be good. But like you said, it's just you guys also involved all the players in whether a city name or a town's name or just even the people in general. So, you incorporate everybody's input into this with your directives and your direction.
Oh, yeah, well, there's input large and small. Some people have taken entire races and built them out, and then other people have just a few names here and there, or just the way they played their character was more than enough to give us something to work with. So it doesn't have to be these monstrous contributions. It's all the little stuff over the course of 8-10 years of your gameplay as we watch and use those little tidbits here and there. And just like some of the background for your character is created in entire cities and towns just from your background.
Right. Yeah. So monsters, we took on a fresh new take on monsters and items. How difficult was it to come up with all that?
As far as monsters go, it was an absolute breeze for me. It couldn't have been easier, and that's mostly because Bill made all the monsters.
And most of the magic too. The monsters, I just used the guide out of the front of the fifth edition monsters manual in the DMG. Explains how to make your monsters. You can look at the ones that are already in there. You can reskin them if you want. That's relatively easy. Take a monster, change some of its abilities and some of its attacks. I like to take things a little bit more creatively. So I will find an inspiration, a picture on the internet that it's like, boy, that's a really wicked, nasty looking something or other. I'm going to build it. And I will pull that picture down so I can show my table what it looks like, and I will start building it. I'll decide what challenge rating it's going to be sitting at based on the level of the players on the table. I will just let my imagination run. How do I see this thing moving? How do I see this thing attacking? What are some of its special attacks? What are some of its resistances? What are some of its weaknesses? And just start building. And like I said, my overactive imagination will kick in. I'll put some music in the background to inspire myself, to keep me in the mood, and I'll just go start cranking. And I think I was pulling out 2, 3, 4 monsters a night at one point.
Yeah, and it really sets the tone for your world too when you do something like that, because there's there's a theme, you know, in the monsters that you created for a campaign setting, and that flavors the world in pretty unique way. And some of the stuff that we did with existing monsters, we put a different slant on them. Like we made orcs a player race, you know, so they have their own civilization. And we did the same thing with goblins, and we put a totally different slant on the goblins. So they're a merchant species that are merchant people that pretty much travels throughout the entirety of the world, selling whatever wares that their particular clan produces.
Very gypsy-like.
Yeah, very very much so, and they're almost Ferengi-like. You know.
Yeah. That was the other episode.
I'm a Trekkie.
That was the other episode.
Can't help it.
We won't go there.
You know, and they're a Fey-like species too. So they're more akin to fairies than they are to orcs. So you can put all these different slants on monsters that, you know, aren't in the monster manual, aren't in any of the canon that the D&D game has, and that can really kind of spice things up a little bit. You know, where do they fit in the world?
I mean, look, all our players are most of our players are very, very well seasoned. They know the monster manual in and out, even the newer editions. So you take a monster that they think they're familiar with, and they go at it with a familiar tactic, and that tactic doesn't work. Going, no, wait a minute. Kobolds they're easy. You should be knocking them down like bowling pins. What do you mean he's standing? I just hit him 3 times with a battle axe. Why is he still standing there? Why is he beating me up, not the other way around? So you can take your familiar monsters, reskin them for your world. And we've mentioned this in earlier episodes. Be consistent with that particular monster. If that's the way that your kobolds are, then that's the way your kobolds should be. Now, obviously, some are going to be a little stronger than others, a little bit, you know, waffle back and forth. That's fine. But be consistent. And that way, you know, they'll figure them out. But in the first encounter, if they beat your players or vice versa, they may not see every bag that's in the trick. I get that ass backwards. Every trick that's in the bag. You have others that you can hold off. And the next time they run into them, oh, well, I'll just do this. It worked last time. And all of a sudden they pull something new out going, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know they did that too. So, yeah, you can reskin old ones, or a lot of times when Scott and I are writing the story, he wrote this beautiful black circle plague that started in the world. And I created an entire group of monsters that were all mutated from existing normal beasts that were mutated by the black circles, and turned them into hellacious creations that tormented the world.
And tormented it. It did. We didn't know what to expect.
Well, like I said, a lot of times I showed those pictures and everyone just went, oh, that's ugly, and I've never seen that before. And that's the beauty of having your own monsters, is your rules lawyers are going to go nuts. They're going to go nuts because I have no idea what that is. I don't know how to stop it. It's not in the book. Where'd you find that? And you can see them actually twitching in their chairs.
And we had to. It was almost necessary for us to homebrew a campaign setting, because we had so many seasoned players that even with a brand new edition of the game, they had, you know, 20, 30, sometimes 40 years of lore that they've accumulated just through playing the game and being a part of the hobby for as long as they had. So it had to be done to keep it fresh. And if you have a similar group and you haven't homebrewed a campaign setting yet, you really should. It's going to keep it fresh.
It's like playing a new game.
Yeah. It's very much so like playing a new game. And one of the other things that was big for us was the magic items.
The way we approached magic was completely different.
Yes. We opted for a low magic world. So there's magic, and there was a lot of magic, but because of that, there were regulations put on the use of magic by an entity in the world, like an organization, perhaps is a better term. Mm-hmm. But we did homebrew some of our own magic items, which was really, really, really fun.
Comical. Yep,
a lot of them were very low powered. Some were tech based, and others were built out of a necessity for some magic items, for some items that performed a specific function, but with very little access to the knowledge required to make a powerful magic item.
And then there's a number of the items, too, that were very utilitarian.
Yes.
Yeah, there's very utilitarian magic items. And again, based on tech or with a little bit of magic left over from fractured, ruptured, existing magic items that they bastardized and tried to get working and said, well, that didn't work. All right, let's use the parts into something else. And so you got this low-powered magic. A lot of it was, like I said, tech-based, but not everything. There are a few artifacts kicking around the world. Like I said, the organization that we created is hunting those down and gathering them up to keep them out of harm's way. The party will still have magic, and they do have a fair amount, but we are a low magic world and a low magic party, so they have to rely more on their skills and their talents and their abilities than being able to just pull out the big sword and cut everything in half, going ta-da, problem solved.
Yeah, and one of the things that creating a low magic world does is it also requires a different way of looking at the game, because you don't have that kind of golf bag full of magic items that, this needs my +4 sword defender, this situation. It's like, this is what you have. How are you going to approach the situation without the crutch of a plethora of magic items?
Mm-hmm. How many times in the early editions where, every encounter, well, okay, it's class A or class B or class C, worth of treasure. And then you go by the warrior's house and he has a picket fence of +1 battle axes out in front of his house because he has nothing better to do with them.
Yeah, he's already upgraded several times.
Yeah.
That power creep isn't there, really, when you go low-powered magic.
No, in our world, I think the most powerful weapon I've seen is still a +2, and I think we're like level, 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the most items any one of us have is maybe 2, maybe 3.
There's a few out there with a couple more, but
well, again,
we've culled them back a bit.
They think we don't know.
Yes,
but we do.
Yeah, I'll write it on a separate piece of paper on the back of this piece of paper, and
but at the same time, like on our yearly getaway, there's so many of us, we have to play at 2 different tables, so we don't know what everybody has really.
This is true. The tables do get mixed up fairly often from year to year, sometimes during the same year.
Yep.
So yeah, you don't have access to or have been witness to what everyone has.
But we have, and we talk.
Yes.
And you don't have to go like low magic. You can go high magic in your world. You can go moderate magic, but it's
your world. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about it. It's just that, it's like your house. Decorate it however you want to decorate it.
It's whatever makes you comfortable too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I need another hit of Metamucil, so this is a good time to take a break. Hi, it's DM Bill, and as you can tell, I am not impressed. Why, you may ask? Because it's what us old folks do. You want to know what does impress me, besides a full night's sleep without a trip to the bathroom every 2 hours? Online shopping. That's right, online shopping impresses me. There's nothing I like more than clicking on the doodads on my jitterbug phone and buying the latest D&D books and gaming accessories from Amazon and having it delivered right to my door. That's darn convenient. Next time you kids are on your Twitcher book or Facey time, impress DM Bill and head on over to our website, thedungeonmastersdojo.com, and do some online shopping at our Amazon affiliate store. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it's a great way to support a podcast. See you next time in the dojo.
We're back from our break.
Oh, that's better.
Well, why don't you continue on our world building expedition here?
We've already touched on this once. Your group can assist in building your world. And we were lucky enough where we have a lot of people that are very imaginative.
And creative.
Yeah. So they did a phenomenal job of help filling in the blanks for us, especially even sometimes without even realizing it. But we petitioned a number of people saying, hey, can you work on this? Can you work on that? And the few that said, hey, yeah, I'll do that, they stepped up big. Yeah.
There's a lot of ownership that your players get when they have participated in the construction of the campaign setting. And once you have that kind of ownership and buy-in, then they're sold on it. They have that investment in the world. This is my little chunk of our campaign setting. This is my contribution, and very proud of it. And we've had 2 players that kind of co-collaborated, I guess, if you will, on a race that's unique to our world, just through playing it and coming up with some ideas. Like, hey, I think that they should be required to multi-class and should not take that penalty to stat bumps or feats.
Right. But there's a trade-off.
There is a trade-off,
Yep.
and that's that.
But it was a good point. When he brought it up to me, he's like, hey, bring this to Scott. Let's take a look at this. And it was a very, very good point. It's like, well, that's doable. That's very workable. Let's put it in there. And he justified it. And he's pulled something away. That might be too strong. That might be too strong. That's too much. That's too big a bonus. Let's scale that back, and let's go with this instead. So it wasn't just how big and bad can we make this particular class of, this race. Let's level it out and make sure everything is justified.
And it saves a lot of time
Yeah,
and work for the DM. So if you're going to create that campaign world, farm some of it out. If one of your players approaches you and says, I think this would be cool. What do you think of that? And then sit down and talk to them about it and let them have that involvement in there, because usually they'll come back and have more ideas, or they'll just become the owner of that particular city, town, race, whatever have you, and just develop it even further.
Oh yeah, they'll just keep going. Oh, how about this level? Hey, I'm going up in levels, and I noticed that they are granted this, but it doesn't make sense for the way this character is developing. How about if we give it this instead? Because they're invested in it now. They want to make sure this particular character of theirs and the race that they're following is going in the direction they would like to see it go. And with your direction, as the game master, let them have at it.
It is, after all, their world too. You're running campaigns in it, and it may have been your baby, but they're living in it.
Yeah,
and adventuring through it. So give them that opportunity. It's going to save you a bunch of work, and your world's going to grow a lot bigger. And
to that point too, if they're getting that involved, some of your other players will turn and go, well, no, he did that. No, he did all that. Oh, well, can I do something? Absolutely.
Yeah, it could be contagious.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope so. In our case, it was. It was not. I mean, not everyone at the table came to our world saying, "Hey, I want to build a part of your world. I just want to play in it." That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. But it's nice when some of them step up and say, "Hey, I have something to contribute. I have an idea. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's see where it goes." And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. There's been a few ideas that have been bounced off, and so we just kind of went, eh.
Yeah, or it just may not be the right time, or it may have to kind of go back to the drawing board for it to be a viable idea.
Or they got the inspiration to cross over from another genre, and it doesn't quite fit the world.
Yeah, too much of a mix of genres.
Mm-hmm.
And you touched upon this a little bit. It does. It inspires creativity. It'll inspire creativity on my part, on the part of other players at the table. May even inspire some creativity of someone's spouse who's not playing the game but may make a suggestion. And that's always welcome too, especially if it's a set of eyes that doesn't sit at the gaming table.
That's where I get a lot of my monsters.
From
several of the things my wife has called me.
Yeah, she is creative. I'll give her that.
We have mentioned inspiration. We mentioned inspiration can come from some from anywheres, and my wife will come down here with a stream of expletives that will make a truck driver blush, and a description that I'll turn on and go, wow, that was horribly gross and awesome at the same time. I can use that.
Yeah, and sometimes you're not the only target of such things.
Some of my closest friends,
I myself
will catch the flack as well.
Yeah, I've gotten hit with it quite a few times.
I was about to say 2 or 3 times.
So that's what you get for sitting closer to the stairs. You're the first one she sees. An established campaign setting that you're particularly in at this moment, especially with some of the pre-written stuff, may not necessarily fit where you want to go. So if you're making your own world, you have your own vision. You're getting input from your players. You can now customize it for where you want to be. Because like I said, there's a lot of great stuff out there, but you may not like where it's going. You can direct that. You can direct it in your own world.
Yeah, you're kind of railroaded a little bit with those campaign settings, and which is ironic because this is a game that people don't like to be railroaded, and they want to get off the rails.
Yep. And
it's not always easy to do that with a pre-designed campaign setting that you're buying from Wizards of the Coast or anybody else, because it's already established, and it almost feels like it cheapens the world a little bit when you make too many modifications. Like it's not recognizable anymore.
Don't get me wrong. The pre-made stuff for new game masters is very useful.
Yeah.
It's very useful, especially if you're not familiar with building stuff. You're not familiar with the world. Let's face it, not everyone has the world memorized. Not everyone.
Right.
There is people just starting to play. Bless you. You're keeping the hobby going. That's what we need. That's what we want. We're out here to help the game masters, to inspire your players, so your players keep coming back. They bring other players. So there are always going to be new players. That the world is not a overused item anymore. But there's an awful lot of us out there that have been around forever. This is your way to provide something fresh, new, and exciting. And I enjoy building. I enjoy building the monsters. I enjoy building the magic items. Like I said, Scott's the storyteller, and I'm the logistics person. I build the things, and he builds a story around them. And between the two of us, I think we've come up with some pretty nice stuff. And it keeps our players on their toes, because they've picked up items and went, wow, what does this do? I did detect magic. It's glowing a little, so there's something there, but they can flip through the books all they want. They're not going to find anything in there that's going to help them. And the discovery process is a very entertaining thing, especially with our group who is not afraid to just go, hey, look, it's got a pull string. I'm going to put it in another player's, another character's pocket and pull the string.
That's the wild card's job.
And we both just looked at Lou.
That's why I said it's the wild card's job.
Good point you made about being a new GM. Creating your own campaign setting may not be the best idea for you right off the bat.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, learn the game, learn the craft first, and become comfortable with both.
Yes,
and then jump in. Start small.
Do it in small fits. A town, a village, one or two monsters, that kind of deal, and work your way up from there.
That's precisely what we did. Multiple decades of experience, and still we went that route, which is the best route to go, in my opinion, for creating a campaign setting.
Well, we've had a previous episode where we mentioned the play styles. And it does curb in a lot of your wild cards, your rules lawyers, even your tacticians. Everything's new and fresh, and they're like, okay, we don't know where we're going. We don't know what we're doing anymore. We thought we knew, but all of a sudden, the creatures crawling out of that hole don't look like anything we've ever seen, and that device you picked up is doing some really funky stuff every time it gets dark out. And then we're dealing with races that they've never seen before. So for us, it was necessary for our group, as we mentioned. It's not necessary for everybody, but if you do it, if it's starting to feel old and it's starting to feel tired, this is definitely the way to go.
Yep, and that's going to conclude this episode, and that's part 1 of our series of world building. 5 reasons why you should build your own campaign setting. Part 2 will be coming soon, so keep your eyes open.